So today's video is about young men, love, romance, connection. I feel like it's a widely discussed topic on social media, and I think that there's a lot of pressure for young men these days. A lot less when I was younger, because I'm 34 now, and I've never felt qualified to talk about relationships because I'm not in one. But I've had relationships and I've learnt a lot through them. And I'm more specifically talking about young men who are looking at relationships and have a lot of pressures around them, but are a little bit more driven and a little bit more, they have bigger dreams for themselves. They're the ones that have a bit of spark for life, in a sense that they want outsized returns. They want the money. They're after a bit of the status. They want to be seen as the masculine type. I feel like these men kind of struggle the most because there is a lot of pressure around it. And relationships are a bit of a touchy subject sometimes. And they're not easy, they take work. But it prompted me to make this video because I was talking to a young bloke in the gym the other day, and it was just this week. And he said something to me which kind of blew my fucking mind, because we had a short conversation. And I know this young guy's smart, he's a switched on lad. And I could see he was a little bit troubled. I could see there's some stuff going on in his life right now. And we were just having a very, very brief, very gentle conversation. And he brought up the topic of relationships. He said, yeah, look, I'm having a bit of trouble at the moment. And, you know, having some challenges in life. And I'm like, oh, you're seeing someone right now? He said, no. He said, I don't feel like I can provide yet. I feel like I really need to have it worked out, and I feel like I need to be a provider before I can really attract someone into my life. Mind you, this young guy is 23 years old. And I just thought to myself, fuck, that is so much pressure for a young guy to feel, and such a wild belief for him to have, to think that he needs to have that worked out, the providing aspect worked out at this such a young age now, before he can meet somebody. And it doesn't really matter what sort of stage of life you're at, whether you're looking to attract a partner, whether you're looking to just happily go at it by yourself, single, whatever it is. A lot of what is pushed onto us, and a lot of the conversations that are had, especially in social media, piles so much pressure on young guys to feel like they need to have life all worked out. They feel like they have to be the top 1% masculine type of man before they can actually have connection with a person. And I think that's just a fucking wild thought process to have. It's a wild belief to have. And I want to talk about a couple of my beliefs about it and my experiences about it, because not a lot of this information was around when I was younger. So I was raw dogging it, fucking up relationships left, right, and center. And I was the type, and I'm happy to be vulnerable about this because I don't think it's spoken about enough. And I don't think enough men really speak about this kind of thing, because if they are vulnerable and people can see them, then it makes them weak. And I know, I can tell you from experience that the weakness is ignoring who you are. It's ignoring your true self in this whole scenario. That's the weakness. That's the weak part. The avoidance of your actual personality. That is the weakness. So I want to tell you about a couple of my scenarios, because I truly believe that having your heart ripped out of your ass a couple of times during your life is one of the most transformative ways to move ahead and progress in your world. As a man, as a woman as well, but I'm specifically talking about the men right now, because I feel like that's the only person I can really speak for, is the younger version of myself is who I'm really talking to. The ones that have the drive, the ones that have the outsized ambitions in life. And even if you're just watching this and you're a young guy who you're having some challenges and stuff, because believe me when I say I've had my experiences with those things too. My belief was I had to have it all worked out as well. I felt like I had to be somebody else that I wasn't. And naturally, my personality is I am a more sensitive, emotional bloke. I do feel things very deeply. And I always thought that my emotions and the way that I was weakness, and that women would see me as weak because of it. I know now that that's a complete lie. It's how you use that is going to determine you. But I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't. And that led me down a really dark path. So all of the people that I attracted into my life romantically, were the wrong kind of person. The facade that I put on and the shield that I had to try and mask the real true personality of myself was the thing that stopped me from bridging connection. And it was the thing that brought people into my world who broke my heart. I broke my own heart by being like that. But the point is, I want you to know that you don't have to have life all worked out. You don't have to be a provider and a top 1% man to be able to find connection in your life, especially if you want bigger things for your world. The reason is because a relationship or any type of dynamic will show you all the things you need to work on. And if you are being entirely true to yourself, generally speaking, that path will be a lot easier. When you start to try and be somebody who you aren't is when you'll inevitably meet friction, because you'll get found out. Because the person you're trying to be is made up, and eventually you'll be found out. And I was so many times. I thought I had to push my feelings down, stop myself from feeling emotion, because that's what women wanted to see. They wanted to see capable men, strong men. I thought being strong was pushing my feelings down. I thought that being weak was feeling emotional about things. I thought weak was having sensitivity to things. I now realize that those things are my superpower. They're the things that give me intuition. They're the things that allow me to have empathy. They're the things that allow me to see somebody for who they are. And also, if I can have the humility to see those things, then I see myself better. So I understand myself better, which bridges connection far easier. And so this whole idea about having to provide in a dynamic before you've even worked things out for yourself is fucking insane. I think if you're really looking for connection in this life as a young bloke, block out all the noise and learn everything about you, because it really starts from the inside. And I know this sounds a little bit fucking spiritual and woo-woo, and it's really not, but the idea is that the better you understand yourself, the better relationship you have with yourself, the better quality people you will attract, and the right connection will come to you. It's kind of like that effect where, have you ever seen those people who just have a good energy? They have this magnetic energy about them that makes you want to be close to them. Whether it's because you think that they're strong people, whether it's because you think that they're friendly, they effortlessly seem to be able to connect with people on a deeper level without having to really try. Those type of people are usually the ones who have a really solid relationship with themselves. And as a man, that's one of the things, as a young man especially, it's one of the things that is a bit lost on us, I believe, because we're put under so much pressure to have these masculine traits worked out, and we never really get to know ourselves. I'm telling you right now, your masculinity comes from understanding yourself. It comes from doing the work on yourself to understand who you are. And that is real strength. That is the real thing that you need to be looking at to be able to find yourself and find connection. We're hardwired for connection, lads. We're human beings. Sorry if you don't like it, we're hardwired for connection. You can't push everyone away and think that you're being stronger for the rest of your life. It won't work. It's a surefire way to depression, and I went down that pathway. I think the whole heartbreak part is necessary. It is a spiritual gateway. I'm not a spiritual guy. I want to preface by saying I'm not a spiritual guy, but I have some spiritual beliefs about how this thing works. And just from experience, I can tell you from the heartbreak that I've had, it has always led me to the next version of myself who's done better in my world. And I mean the next version of myself who's made more money, who started a business, who had nothing, and now I built my business to 50, 60K per month. I live financially free. I have freedom of my time. I have amazing connections with incredible people. And I love my life. And it's because I had to come to terms with who I really was, because the people I was attracting were walking all over me because I had no backbone. And I had no backbone because I was trying to be somebody who I wasn't. I didn't know how to. And I had to work it out myself. And the way that I worked it out myself is I had my heart ripped out my ass on a number of occasions. It didn't always happen that way, but for the most part, when I did go through that pain, and that is the worst pain I've ever felt, emotionally and physically, whenever I went through those scenarios, I always leveled up because the relationship or the dynamic showed me what I needed to pay attention to, and that will happen. Feeling into what is going on the inside, lads, feeling into that deeply, and I mean paying attention to it, is what's going to allow you to bridge connection with people that you want to bridge connection with. The right types, not the ones who you think you want to be around. The ones that you need in your world because you are the way you are. Whether that means that you're a more sensitive bloke, whether that means that you have higher emotion. I can tell you I do. And I've still achieved all the things in my life I wanted to. And it's because I accepted who I was. I wasn't trying to be somebody else anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. It's too much energy. The ego will always destroy everything in its path. It just doesn't work. If you're wanting to attract good quality humans into your world, you're wanting to connect with them, you're wanting something romantic, you're wanting a partner, a girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend, it doesn't matter what it is, right? If you're wanting to attract those people into your world, take note of what happens in dynamics and how you feel about them. And it starts on the inside. It starts on you working on yourself. And I'm not talking about this fucking wake up before the sun and grind and hustle and all this social media fucking bullshit. It pisses me off. I'm talking about you taking stock of who you really are and working on the stuff that's on the emotion stuff on the inside, because everybody can ignore the shit and they can push through and they can do all that self-development crap. Anybody can do that. I'm telling you, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. It's all over social media. All these people who make you believe them to be somebody that they're probably not. And it's so obvious. Now to me, it is so obvious. And I did all that stuff. I went through that phase, and maybe you might have to do that and make some mistakes, or maybe you might have to do that and it might suit you. I don't know. But my point is that you need to face the true, authentic human being that you really are. And you do that by going into dynamics and allowing things to take place, allowing things to make mistakes, fuck up. You need to make action. Action precedes clarity. And that's what the clarity will be. The true person that you really are will come to the front. And I think one of the things that changed my tune on, or not changed my tune, but what really helped me see myself was every dynamic showed me a different part of me. Every dynamic gave me the ability to see what I needed to work on and what I needed to pay attention to. And that is ultimately how I have become more comfortable with the person I actually am. And as I said, with every single one of them, I leveled up. And so if you're wanting that connection, if you're really wanting to move forward with that, all other areas of your life will work out better as a result of that. And it's not just like romantic relationships. It's relationships with your family, your mummy, your dad, your sister, brother, whoever's in that world. Your relationships with your friends. Take note of how you feel in those dynamics. And it will show you the light, the path that you kind of need to travel to go that direction. I feel like a lot of this isn't spoken about enough. A lot of capable men aren't vulnerable enough to talk about the real stuff. The stuff that is needing to be looked at so that you can live a really happy, enjoyable life and connect with the right types of people who are right for you. And to the young lad who told me all that stuff, boys, you don't have to have it worked out. You can do it as you go. You can do it as you go. I promise you that. You don't need to have it all worked out. But you do need to take a look at yourself. It starts with you. And the confidence that you build within yourself, and it is a bit of self-love stuff, I'll be honest. It's a bit of like, if you can become more sure of yourself, and the way you become more sure of yourself is you learn who you are and you accept who you are. By doing that, by going that path, that is where you find true connection with the right people. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I make these videos because I just want to help the young version of myself, the young lad who really struggled with all this stuff. Relationships was one of them. It was the elephant in the room for me, and I'm still working on it too. I haven't got it worked out. I really don't, but I am still working on it, and I think I've built a life that a lot of men would envy, and I'm showing how I've done it, my experiences in it. You might be able to relate to some things. It won't relate to others, but I do hope that it's given some kind of clarity and some sort of direction. Add me on Instagram if you want to. You can message me there as well. You can comment on this video if you want to ask any questions. Happy to help. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I'm going to watch some tennis in a minute. Alcaraz is playing Sinner. Going to be sick. Catch ya.